Hey guys, it's Not Lammers from Invoked 101. Welcome back, and I am actually using my phone to film this one again because finally my phone has fixed itself, I guess. There was a problem with the charger port, so I wasn't able to transfer video, but now it seems to be working just fine. So we're back using the setup that we were doing beforehand. Anyways, this is a deck profile that a lot of you guys have been requesting, and I feel really bad that it took me this long to do it. But after playing some Master Duel, and this being a deck that I actually play in Master Duel because I think it's a little bit better there, this is the updated Mekk-knight Invoked deck profile. I'm super hyped to show this to you. This is a very hard go second deck. This is a very cool deck. I've been playing this the past few Sundays when I meet up with my friends. I've been testing this, and then when Master Duel came out and I was able to kind of play around with it, because I do think this deck is better in Master Duel. It's a lot more affordable in Master Duel too than it is IRL. But yeah, before we get into it, shout out to Stay Classy. So these are, this is not sponsored by any means. I just really like this guy's field centers. These are metal field centers that are numbered. They're limited to a certain amount. So you can see I have 47 of 100, 263 of 300, and 131 of 300 here. But he does these really cool ones. Typically, they sell out pretty quickly. He does numbered runs and then unnumbered runs. Like for the Madolche one, it had the pink back, and then the unnumbered one, I believe, had the blue back. So, but yeah, they are really cool. He's done a few different Cyber Dragon designs. This was his latest one, was the green one, and I missed out on the other ones, so I picked up this one. But yeah, they are super cool, not sponsored, just felt like giving a shout out to a guy who makes some really cool stuff. I'm not sure how many people know about this dude, but yeah, definitely, I'll post a link to his Instagram page in the description. Definitely super cool stuff here. And of course he did an awesome invoked one of Alistair with the magical meltdown on the back. So super cool for that. Anyways, let's get into this deck profile. So setting the extra deck off to the side, we're going to do this in packages. So instead of how I normally do it where it's like monsters, spells, traps, this is going to be like the Invoked package, the Mekk-knight package, etc., etc. So starting us off, of course, is the Invoked package. And this isn't exactly how I would like it to be. I think the extra deck could use some work. And of course, there's some cards that I don't own that I would like to play in this deck. But I'll talk about that when I get there. So starting us off, of course, is 3 of the boy, Alistair the Invoker. I've been normal summoning him since, what was it, 2017? No plans on stopping, not even in Master Duel, not even in Duel Links. This card is amazing. On normal summon, search Invocation, and is an honest for any fusion monster for a bonus 1000 attack. Card is amazing, card is awesome. So super excited for that guy. This card is easily one of my favorite cards in the whole game. Next up, we have 2 Invocation, still playing 2. You could bump it to 3 if you really wanted to, but just repping the 2 right now. Because I don't feel that you need more than 3. It does get a little bricky at that point. Although you can always just set it and special summon a Mekk-knight, I guess. Then I am playing triple Magical Meltdown. This is something that IRL has over Master Duel, is that we're able to play 3 Meltdowns. Technically 4 because we have terraforming. But yeah, Meltdown obviously is just for consistency, just gets Alistair into our hand. Then, this is something I would change if I had the cards, and these are different in Master Duel. I'm playing 2 Spellbook of Knowledge and 2 Spellbook of Secrets. So you don't really care about drawing secrets because you can always just set it and special summon a Mekk-knight. These should be Pots of Prosperity, but I don't own those, and they're really expensive. So we're going to be playing Spellbook of Knowledge, also because not only can we send Alistair for Spellbook of Knowledge to draw 2, we can send Artemis now, the link 1. So we can link away Alistair, summon Artemis, Spellbook of Knowledge away the Artemis, and still make Mekhabub plus draw 2. So it ends up kind of doing the same thing, except now you get advantage from it, and no longer have to. You're getting full use out of your field, essentially, with the one. So it turns Alistair, like if you open this plus Alistair, it's super full combo. Like it can let you extend. It's amazing. But yeah, that's what we're trying out right now. Basically just playing this instead of Pot of Prosperity. And since Pot of Desires is now at 1, this kind of became the go-to right now. And like I mentioned, it also, you can set them, special summon some Mekk-knights. Like you can set Spellbook of Knowledge, summon Artemis, special summon a Mekk-knight there, and then knowledge away the Artemis. So that's pretty cool. That's it for the Invoked package. Pretty decent little package. A little bigger than usual because of Spellbook of Knowledge. Next up is the Mekk-knight package, which I like to think I'm pretty known for playing a rather large Mekk-knight package. Like, I play more Mekk-knights than I think I should, but at the same time, I like the Mekk-knights, and I think that they're the kind of heart and soul of the Invoked Mekk-knight deck. It's definitely one of the better parts of the strategy. Anyway, 3 purple. Obviously, purple is the best one. He is your searcher. He's your kind of Stratos. He's a, what is it, wind-up rabbit, right? Where it banishes itself. He's really good, and also he's the big beater of the deck with 2,500 to 2,000. So really cool card. Lets you get more advantage, and yeah, fantastic overall. Then I'm playing 2 Mekk-knight Indigo Eclipse. I know some people only play 1. I like 2. He's the second heaviest hitter in the deck, and also he sets you up if you have a handful of Mekk-knights, because nothing is worse than opening a handful of Mekk-knights and not having Indigo. So yeah, definitely want to play more than one of him. Then I'm playing 2 Blue Sky. I think 2 Blue Sky is just fine. 3 is a little bit much, in my opinion, because then I think you're seeing him too much. Even though he is the better one because he does search, he can get a search 3, which is another reason I'm playing the Indigo. But I think just playing the 2 is fine. Then we move into our one of Mekk-knights. 1 Yellow Star. I think Yellow Star is way more valuable now than ever, with Skill Drain coming out and coming back to 3, and some other stuff such as Floodgates. So there can only be 1, etc., etc. Mainly that's what this guy is here to deal with, is Floodgates. And I have considered cutting his homie, the Red Moon. I didn't play this, and honestly, this is a 41 card deck. If you wanted to cut one card, Red Moon would be the card to cut, because dealing with monsters, this deck has no problem doing that. There's a ton of ways to deal with monsters, but dealing with back row, this is real, or Floodgates specifically, because that's kind of what Yellow Star is actually really good at doing, because you can special, because it's usually continuous, so you special them there. Yellow Star is definitely way more valuable, even though he is a tad weaker, but he does have 2,800 defense, so he's a good defender, good chump blocker. But yeah, Red Moon. And then the last Mekk-knight I play is the other normal summon, 1 Mekk-knight Girsu. Girsu lets us go into stuff like Vert. It lets us go into, I think we can make BLS off this too if we try hard enough. But yeah, Mekk-knight Girsu, playing 1. Gonna see how I like it. Mainly just wanted another normal summon for the deck, and I felt Mekk-knight Girsu was the card for that. Then the last card for Mekk-knights, World Legacy Secret. This negates monster effects that activate in the same column as a Mekk-knight, and it also is a Mekk-knight Monster Reborn. It can also reborn Mechaba because it targets any level 5 or higher and special summons them. So really good card. Really, really useful. And you can search it off of the Mekk-knight link. You can search that. I thought about playing World Legacy Succession, and honestly, if you wanted to, if you still want to play 41, because I personally like playing 41, you could swap the Red Moon for a Succession, which is probably what I'm going to do after this, just because Succession is searchable Monster Reborn. But yeah, so there we go. That is the Mekk-knight package. So pretty sizable, like I said, and I think you could cut it down just a bit. But I like playing the Orcus Girsu just because it does give you another way to do something. It gives you another normal summon. Sorry, my brain is kind of frazzled. It's a little early right now. Then we have the Rainbow Neos package. So we're playing 1 Neos, 1 Rainbow Dragon, and 3 Neos Fusion. So if you don't know the logic behind Neos Fusion, it's the same reason people are playing 3 Fusion Destinies. So Neos Fusion just says, it says you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn after this card activates. So you can do the same thing where you open this, you do full combo, and then drop this and summon a Rainbow Neos, a 4,500 dude who's a board wipe. It's a really good card. On top of that, you can dump this off Vert because it says Fusion on it. And a really cool thing about this is if your Rainbow Neos tries to get destroyed, like if someone tries to destroy your Rainbow Neos, you can banish this to protect it. In a lot of ways, this spell card is a lot better than Fusion Destiny, with all the same drawbacks. Fusion Destiny locks you into Dark Heroes. This says you can't special summon. It's effectively the same, in terms of just splashability, they're effectively the same card. But the monster that this summons, going second at least, is incredibly good, especially if you dump it off Vert. So if you open Alistair plus combo to make Vert, so like Alistair plus a Mekk-knight, that makes Vert Mechaba, right? What you do, I'll tell you when we get to Mechaba. I'll tell you when we get there. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what you're able to do. But yeah, that's my Rainbow Neos package. And then we have hand traps and etc. is what we're playing in this section. So we are playing 3 Ash Blossom. Obviously, Ash Blossom is still pretty alright right now. Droll might be better depending on how this format shakes up. But yeah, definitely 3 Ash Blossom. Then I'm playing 3 Effect Veiler. Imperm. I mainly put these in here because I wanted to talk about the Selene engine, the Selene Needle Fiber engine, because you can special summon a Mekk-knight, normal summon Effect Veiler, and go into the Selene combo. This deck does have a lot of spells. So, and on top of that, Selene is another spellcaster. This is another spellcaster to send off a Spellbook of Knowledge, etc., etc. You can special summon one off Needle Fiber. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. Same thing with Ash. You can normal summon the Ash, special summon the Mekk-knight, and summon the Effect Veiler, etc., whatever. But yeah, you can do lots of stuff with Effect Veiler, and that's one of the reasons I played this over Imperm or Chalice or whatever. Next up, I'm playing 2 Triple Tactics Talent. Like I said, this hand traps and etc. Tactics is mainly for if Alistair gets ashed. This is, I still firmly believe that this card is mandatory in Invoked Mekk-knights. I would play 3 if I had a 3rd one, but I don't. If I had a 3rd one, I would definitely be playing 3 just because it was made for Invoked Mekk-knights, and I was so happy that I was able to get a few of these. Next up, we have Crossout Designator. This is to stop the Ashes, Effect Veilers, etc. I would be playing 1 Imperm just to prevent Alistair from getting hit even more, but I don't have it. Same thing, Called By, again, basically the same thing as Crossout. It just stops hand traps. I wish this was at 2 like it was in Master Duel. I wish. And then 1 Monster Reborn. And this is, I played the 1 Monster Reborn. I wish I was playing Succession as well, just to give me the 2 Monster Reborns. I think that'd be really nice. But yeah, that is it for the main deck. I really, really like how this main deck shaped up. I do think that there are some spots where I could change it. I think specifically in the Mekk-knight package, I think it is a touch big. It's just like really cutting it down and cutting this deck down in general now that we have the huge Neos Fusion package, I think is what makes changing the main deck really tough. Anyways, moving into the extra deck, starting us off with our fusion monsters, double Mekaba. So, like I mentioned, and when I get to Rainbow Neos, I'll talk about that combo. But yeah, Mekaba, he's a negate, he's incredible. The only thing you really can't negate in this deck is traps, but we side deck traps, we side deck stuff like Solemns to go first. I'm not going to show off a side deck, I'm just talking about it right now. We side deck stuff like Solemns, there can only be 1 because everything in the extra deck is different, and Mekk-knights are psychic, Alistair is spellcaster. And it does, oh no, I'm being bad. I just realized with the extra deck something that I should change, but I'll talk about that at the end. Then 1 Invoked Algodes, 1 Purgatrio, and 1 Rainbow Neos. So I'm not really playing too many Invoked Fusion monsters. I'm really just playing the hits, the classics here. Also, shout out to Gara for the Secret Rare Algodes, being the homie there. But yeah, so Rainbow Neos, let me talk about Rainbow Neos real quick, because I feel like a lot of people don't know what Rainbow Neos does. And if you do, it's because you played against Invoked Mekk-knights. So Rainbow Neos has the effect, he can send 1 monster from your field to the grave to spin every monster on the opponent's side of the board back into the deck. Then he has an effect to send 1 spell and trap you control to the grave to spin all your opponent's back row back into the deck. Then he has an effect to mill 1 card off the top of your deck and shuffle the graveyard. Is it the graveyards? Shuffle all cards in your opponent's graveyard into the deck. He's also 45 3K, and you can buff that with Alistair. He's incredible. So, what's really cool, also, if this gets destroyed and you're able to, and you have Mekaba in the grave, you can make Algodes and make Algodes 65, which is awesome. But, anyways, so he's 4,500 attack. Mekaba is 2,500 attack. You combine those together, that's 7,000 damage. You will have an Alistair in your hand. That is 8k damage direct exactly. Because if you summon this off Vert, if you open Alistair plus Mekk-knight and Alistair doesn't get stopped, so you get Invocation. You go into Vert, you make Mekaba, you Vert effect dump Neos, and then you use Rainbow Neos to send Vert to the grave to spin all your opponent's stuff back. You attack for 7 in damage step. You buff 1 of them with Alistair. It is awesome. It's one of the most consistent OTKs that I've found. It's one of the strongest OTKs that this deck can do, aside from just punching with Mekk-knights. But yeah, or Purgatrio. Purgatrio is also an OTK machine. But yeah, no, the fact that Rainbow Neos can just spin everything back and Mechaba can negate whatever is trying to stop Vert, or if something tries to stop Neos, if they don't have an answer for Vert, like, it's really awesome. It's really cool. So that's the fusions. Those are the fusions. Moving into the links. And this is where I'm playing kind of bad. So I'm playing one Moon Maiden and one Link Spider. These are my only Link ones. I should be playing because of games 2 and 3, I should be playing a Owl Mirage and a Secure Gardener, purely because of there can only be one. Because if you're under there can only be one, Alistair cannot link into this. So if you need to make something, it does make it more difficult. Even though, still in that same vein, like, you also can't make Secure Gardener with Owl Mirage. You'd be forced into Purgatrio. So it really is, like, up to you if you want to play those two. I might swap out some stuff in this extra deck to play those two to accommodate them, because there's some stuff in here I don't really care about. But at the same time, it might be better if you're playing Pot of Extravagance, but Pot of Prosperity. But for right now, I think this extra deck is fine. Then I'm playing one Vert, of course. One Vert. Haven't ever needed another one because I'm not playing other targets. And while I am playing multiple Neos fusions, that's more so to see it in my hand so I can just hard activate it. One Meltdown Invoker. This card is awesome. It's almost never goes in. I never go into it, but I really like this card and I like the artwork, so I play it. One Mekk-knight Morningstar. This card does come up, shockingly, mainly because if a Mekk-knight battles a monster in its that's not in its column, sorry, you take no damage, and the Mekk-knight monster can't be destroyed by that battle. So you can start slamming your Mekk-knights into stuff. Like, if they have a 2000 monster that's not in the same column as this guy, bam, he crashes, but he lives. Same with like 2500 monsters. Purple just runs right into him. So they're really cool. He's really good with that. And on top of that, you can his effect lets you discard a World Legacy or Mekk-knight card to search a World Legacy card, which is awesome. So, really good card, really strong monster, allows the Mekk-knights to do some really, really cool stuff. Then for our final Link 2s, Cerberus and Phoenix. These guys are alright. This is what I would swap for, what's it called? What are they called? The things that I just mentioned. Owl Mirage and Secure Gardener, that's what they were. So yeah, that's what I would swap for those. Also, Link Spider, that's in here for... that's to make off of the Gearsu token. So you could go Gearsu summon token, link token into Spider, Spider and Gearsu into Vert. That is what that is for. You could also make Meltdown Invoker if you wanted to, but why would you? Then we have our Link 3s. Of course, my boy, the Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. I love this card so much. Every time I've summoned this card, it usually ends in my victory. This is like one of my go-to boss monsters whenever it comes to like Link stuff. Card is incredible. If it's linked using a level 7 or higher monster, it can't be targeted or destroyed by opponent's card effects, and then he gets, if he destroys a monster, he gets one of 3 different effects. He can either banish a card on the field, or he can gain 1500 attack, or during the next battle phase, he can get a second attack in, which is pretty cool, but I think it can only do that once per... Nope, that's not once per turn. That is just whenever that goes off. So if you do give him the second attacking thing, you could banish a card, which is incredible. But yeah, really, really strong monster, really good card. Lastly, Boral Sword. We have Boral Sword. I talk about stuff like access code all the time. I say that access code is, like that's like the card that people always abuse and whatever. Speaking of, if you wanted to play Selene, if you want to play the Selene Halka Fibrax combo, cut these two, swap those for Selene and Hulk, and then trade this out for a access code. That's all you got to do. Super simple. You could also cut Alistair, the Meltdown Invoker, but I definitely recommend BLS because this card is nuts. He's so good, and it's so easy to summon in Invoked Mekk-knights. This deck spits that thing out like no tomorrow, just because the Mekk-knights are able to rack up advantage and go into stuff like that. But like it's temporary advantage, so you do gotta be careful with this deck. It is kind of glass cannon-y. But with all that said, with that all done, like I mentioned, I'm not doing a side deck or whatever for this deck. I'm just talking about the cards that are in front of me. That is it for the Invoked Mekk-knight deck. This deck is incredible. I love this thing so much. I've been a fan of Invoked Mekk-knights ever since I got my hands on the Mekk-knights, I fell in love with the deck. It's so much fun. But yeah, this is definitely a work in progress. It's not how I would personally build a deck. It's not how I have it built in Master Duel, where I think this deck is actually really good. I think this is a really strong deck in that game. But right now, as far as just playing around with a deck, like if you just want to play Invoked Mekk-knights that can go second and OTK the opponent like no tomorrow, I think this is a fine little deck for that. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know what you would change down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, whatever, all that good stuff. I don't care. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.